Hello, my name is Yulia Horvan. This is News Pulse at UATV. Welcome to the daily segment. Today in the episode, Ukrainian forces strike Russian refinery and oil terminal in two regions. Hiding from Ukrainian drones, Putin and Kremlin elites has fled beyond the Urals. Ballistic strikes, deaths and blackouts. Kyiv reels from a massive Russian attack. Drones attacked the Tenneco oil refinery in Russia's Tatarstan and the oil terminal in Krasnodar region last night. In addition, Telegram channel Krymsky Veter, citing satellite data, reported a fire near the Primorsk-Akhtarsk military airfield, which the Russian military uses to launch Shahed drones on Ukraine. The oil terminal in Krasnodar region is the largest privately owned oil loading complex in southern Russia. The facility serves as a specialized transshipment hub for receiving, storing, and shipping petroleum products. The terminal has a throughput capacity of around 20 million tons per year. A fire also reported at the Taman substation, a key element in Russia's so-called energy bridge to temporarily occupied Crimea. Ukraine must seize the strategic initiative on land, at sea, in the air, and in the information space. This was stated by the new Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Yevgeny Khmara, during his speech in the Verkhovna Rada. According to him, this is precisely why it is necessary to strengthen the military, develop human capital, and develop the defense industry.
We must gain the advantage on the front line through the resourcefulness and professionalism of our commanders, the training of our soldiers, innovation, and modern weaponry. We have three key priorities that are of equal importance: the front line and the strengthening of our armed forces, our people, and the development of the defense industry.
Putin has shifted his center of activity beyond the Urals, but pretends to occasionally visit Moscow. The Kremlin dictator has abandoned his tradition of spending most of August in Sochi and meeting with residents of some southern regions. Now all meetings have been moved to locations beyond the reach of Ukrainian missiles and drones, like Siberia and the Far East. Meanwhile, the Kremlin continues to publicize some meetings as Moscow, concealing Putin's actual movements. Members of the Russian elite are also moving beyond the Urals, establishing residences in remote areas. Russia launched a massive airstrike on Ukrainian territory last night, targeting Kyiv. 15 people have been killed and 34 injured, according to local authorities. The Russian army attacked the capital with drones and various types of missiles. Residential buildings, a hospital, a school, stores, warehouses, and an industrial plant were damaged. People are trapped in three shelters. One person was killed and another one was injured in the Kyiv region. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that the Russians had been preparing for a massive strike for a long time, combining various types of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and drones to inflict maximum damage on civilian infrastructure.
Unfortunately, while Moscow is investing in ballistic missiles and escalation, such strikes do not always receive the response they should from the world. And as long as Ukraine does not have enough anti-ballistic defense, Russia will not consider peace seriously. We are doing everything to ensure we have that protection, and work on the Freja program continues every day. But Patriot interceptors cannot yet be replaced, and we need them every day. Every additional missile saves the lives of our people. I thank everyone who understands this and is looking for and finding ways to help. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine, on X.
A just peace is the primary goal of Ukrainian diplomacy, stated the Ukrainian foreign minister. Kyiv foreign policy is focused on achieving maximum results, emphasized Andriy Sybiha. This includes concrete steps to strengthen defense capabilities, expand joint defense production with partners, and increase pressure on Russia. About priorities of Ukrainian diplomacy in our next story for you.
Ukraine took part in NATO's Baltic Trust 2026 exercise, held in Latvia from August 3rd to 14th, according to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The main objective of the drills was to practice countering unmanned aerial vehicles. Military personnel, engineers, and defense industry representatives from 24 countries jointly tested new technological solutions, putting radars and electronic warfare systems through their paces in conditions close to real combat.
The focus of Baltic Trust is not on individual technologies, but on their ability to operate as a single system. Participants tested how detection systems, command and control systems, and counter-UAS capabilities can exchange data, build a common operational picture, and ensure a coordinated response. Such exercises make it possible to assess technologies directly in the field, identify their limitations, and improve solutions in line with real operational needs. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in a Facebook post.
Moving Ukraine's cooperation with NATO from the declarative level to practical implementation is one of the priorities of Ukrainian diplomacy. Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha said, "The government has identified strengthening the partnership with the alliance as one of its operational objectives for 2026 to 2027. This is stated in an annex to the draft resolution on the Ukrainian cabinet's program of activities. Armed forces of NATO member states are already actively studying and integrating the unique combat experience of the Ukrainian military, adapting their doctrines, battlefield tactics, and troop training systems to the realities of modern technological warfare." Former Dutch ambassador to Ukraine Robert Seri does not rule out the possibility that, in the near future, Ukraine could become more important to European security than Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty.
Ukraine is important to Europe's security, and I think many people in Europe recognize that. And, moreover, it is obvious that Ukraine is the key to Europe's defense, with its armed forces and its defense industry. I think various hybrid solutions will emerge to somehow incorporate Ukraine into Europe's defense system. That could involve regional alliances or certain mechanisms outside NATO, but with Ukraine integrated into European defense structures.
In his address to the Verkhovna Rada, Ukraine's foreign minister reaffirmed that the Euro-Atlantic course remains Kyiv's unchanged strategic direction.
We are at a decisive stage of the war, when diplomacy is becoming particularly important. Despite all the challenges, we have maintained support, unlocked 90 billion euros, increased pressure on Russia, established a special tribunal, significantly expanded our diplomatic presence around the world and in international organizations, and opened the first clusters. But as long as the war continues, no effort can be considered sufficient. First, to end the war, we need strength both on the battlefield and at the negotiating table. And this is where diplomacy takes center stage. U.S. involvement, an active role for Europe, pressure on Moscow, and strengthening Ukraine, new packages of military assistance, expanding defense production, and, most urgently, strengthening the air shield and protection against ballistic missiles. We will do everything possible to bring our allies on board.
Kyiv expects all negotiating clusters on EU accession to be opened, Andriy Sybiha said. Ukraine's foreign ministry is focused on accelerating European integration as much as possible and shifting the dialogue with Brussels towards a pragmatic approach to ensure that all technical requirements are met as quickly as possible. At present, Ukraine has officially opened 2 of the 6 negotiating clusters with the EU. The Ukrainian government has already approved a new program of activities aimed at opening the remaining 4 clusters in 2026 to 2027 and fully preparing the accession treaty by the end of 2027. Another priority for Ukrainian diplomacy is ensuring secure food exports through the Black Sea, restoring the solidarity lanes, and protecting freedom of navigation. Reported by Victoria Chistyukina, UATV News.
That's it for today. I'm Yulia Horva, and thank you for watching this segment. We appreciate your time and effort a lot. Please also share, comment, subscribe to UATV. We get you covered on whatever tomorrow holds for all of us, always in Ukrainian perspective. Stay safe and see you soon.